views on this financial services measure. Got the phone numbers on the bottom of the screen. We're not taking a poll or tallying your votes. Just like to hear your views. For liberals, 202-624-1111. For conservatives, 202-624-1115. And our line for moderates is 202-737-6734. This is a vote on the House floor on final passage of this Financial Services Conference Report, an agreement worked out by House and Senate negotiators. The measure would lower the barriers between banks and insurance companies and securities firms. They would be allowed to offer some of the same financial services. We'll hear first in this round of phone calls from Stella, North Carolina. Hi.
Hi.
You're on the conservative line.
Yes, I am. I'm against this bill. And I'll say to all of the people listening, you can join credit unions, you can form credit unions, and if there's no money in the bank, if you withdraw your money from the bank, they will get the message real fast. Just think about it.
Memphis, Tennessee. Hi.
Yes, I was calling to say is, maybe why don't the Republicans revise the bill and make it so that the people will be protected from their health and their bank files. You know, it's kind of appalling that those congressmen there are not respecting the people or even asking people's opinion in their districts. You know, it's really violating all of our rights, and it's going to affect not only the people that they're serving, but them as well when they shall leave Congress. So what they need to do is to revise the bill right there on the floor, just make an amendment. That's all it takes, where it will block those insurance carriers and those bank people from having access to their files. That's all it takes, and I'm quite sure the bill will pass. But they too stubborn and don't want to give in to each other, and we're all going to suffer. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tennessee, on the liberal line. To the moderate line next, here's Yardley, Pennsylvania.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
First of all, I'd say I'm with the Reform Party. I'm watching these congressmen work on these type of bills, and frankly, when it comes to some of these bills concerning the banking and financial services and things like that, a lot of these bills were put in place for a good reason, and I think in this rush to make rash decisions based on a lot of money making or a lot of things that aren't concerning the average person, but maybe people at the top 1% of the people, tends to make it so that the average person is being left out, and they're only taking the concerns of the top 1%. These laws, a lot of these laws were put into place to protect people when things were bad, where consolidation of power with financial services, insurance, real estate, and a lot of lobbyists are pushing to get these bills through so that they consolidate a lot of power and money in a few corporations. And I don't think that I think they're just looking past a lot of the Depressionary laws that went through and making decisions that are a little bit too rash and not really taking into consideration our 60 years ago.
All right, Yardley, thanks for the view. This is an agreement to the conference report on the House floor on this financial services conference. The Senate passed this earlier today. Their vote was 90-8, with one member voting present. Washington, D.C., hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Conservative line, go ahead.
There's a couple of remarks that were made earlier in the day by a couple of the members of Congress, Richard Baker from Louisiana and also David Dreyer from, I believe, California, who said, we finally have got a bill that's bringing this up to the 1980s era. And I think that's probably one of the most interesting things that I heard all night, that, really banking and finance have become such a consolidated industry that I think the rest of the world looks at us as saying, we've done this already, and what's wrong with the United States, and why has it taken you so long to get to this point? And I think Richard Baker hit the privacy issue pretty well when he said, this is the first time that Congress has even addressed the privacy issue in any bill, and they finally have done it in a bill that deals with the financial industry.
Okay, here's a liberal line caller from Washington. Hi.
Yes, good evening. I believe that this bill will weaken the Community Reinvestment Act drastically. The Community Reinvestment Act is a law to fight discrimination and to fight redlining. And during the 1990s, there's been tremendous increases in loans under the Community Reinvestment Act. Millions of people have realized the American dream of home ownership and small business ownership rolling back the Community Reinvestment Act makes as much sense as rolling back Social Security, because it's almost like saying too many seniors have escaped poverty, so we have to roll back the Social Security Act. This bill will make it will weaken the CRA for 80% of the banks in this country, will reduce the frequency of CRA exams and audits for 80% of the banks in this country. And as Barney Frank so eloquently put it, will over-regulate people who are trying to make sure that banks are accountable to their communities while deregulating the financial industry as the financial industry gets much more powerful. We had a chance to enhance the Community Reinvestment Act in this bill, and that was not done. I urge people to take a look at organizations like the National Community Reinvestment Coalition and to get the real scoop on how this bill will affect CRA. Thank you.
All right, Evansville, Indiana, moderate line.
Yes, I had just recently left the financial services industry, actually earlier today, and you would be amazed at the
Wait, you said you left earlier today?
Exactly, and you would be amazed at the level and detail of financial information that's being communicated across different types of businesses just because of the severe vertical integration of a lot of these businesses. And it's becoming incredibly more powerful amongst the banking industry, and I believe this will help keep that intact without sufficiently taking power away from the CRA.
Arlington, Virginia.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I think that this bill is going to be great for consumers, and I'm personally excited about the opportunity that I might have to go and purchase products at one location. For example, a mortgage loan, homeowner's insurance, and be able to allocate my assets for retirement. So I think it's a great bill for consumers.
All right, Virginia, from the conservative line. Here's Hamburg Township in Michigan on the liberal line.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I'm calling in strong opposition to this bill. I think that there are probably 40-some members in that House of Representatives that are truly for the American people. The banks can look after themselves. The government looks after them just fine. Who is going to look after the privacy of American citizens? People in this country, please wake up and realize what is happening to your freedom of privacy. The banks don't need any help. The World Wide Web has enough access to anything they want. It's time that consumers had a consumer bill of rights. And it makes me very angry to see that nobody in that House of Representatives cares about the privacy of American citizens. That's all I want to say.
Okay, we'll continue to watch this vote on the House floor. Off of the floor today, members have also been working on foreign operations spending for this current fiscal year. It's a second version of the bill. President Clinton vetoed the earlier version. We talked a little while ago with a Capitol Hill reporter about that bill and how the negotiations between the Congress and the White House are going.
Walt Barron of the CQ Daily Monitor. The House was in recess for 4 hours earlier today. What was the reason for it?
Well, appropriators and the administration had a back and forth session of counter proposals for the foreign operations spending bill. And